Yes, what a guest we've got on today. It's Craig Brown's wingman, Niall McGinn. How you doing, mate? Alright?
I'm good. You?
Good, mate, I'm good. What's the script with Craig Brown? He's your neighbour, isn't
He used to be my neighbour. He still is obviously hovering about now at 74, 75, still going strong. But I think back in the day, Craig Brown was brilliant to me. When I sort of came here, I was obviously looking for an apartment, and me sort of being Irish, not knowing obviously a lot of people, I happened to pick a flat between Archie and Craig. I was the third floor, Archie was the second floor, and Archie was the top floor, so I had to behave myself.
How was Craig when you were with?
No, Craig was always brilliant to me.
Do you want your pass me on stuff?
Do you want what?
Do you want birds that you'd been with? Did Craig want to take her?
No, I was probably more his wingman than he was my wingman. But he was unbelievable with me. So he brought me to the club and sort of helped get my career back on track again. So good.
Did you ever get a night out with him?
Nope. Jimmy Nicholl was always on to me. Always like Jimmy Nicholl was here last international squad. He's like, I went up to Aberdeen and I was about to head out for a night out and stuff, and I was about to go to Albion, but the Albion had closed like probably 2 years ago now. So he is obviously still wanting to go to Albion, because years ago it used to be him and Craig used to go to. There used to be a wee club down below, and he said it was a main spot, but I've never been, so I'm just taking advice from them.
Brilliant. Right, another thing I want to ask you before we get on your career. Another ladies' man, Paul Slane. My man, how was he? You used to pick him up in the morning, didn't you?
Yeah, I picked Slaney up in the mornings, but funny guy. Obviously when he got on my nerves a few times, the radio had to come on, but he was great. He was very, very shy probably to start off with. I obviously done him a lot of favours. He picked up bad injuries, and he lived quite close to me. I lived down beside the hydro, and he was quite close to me. So I just picked him up in the mornings. He was great company going in, and always laugh, joke, whole way in, whole way home. But obviously I was disappointed because he was injured and probably didn't get to really fulfil his career as a professional footballer.
He actually told me that Amsterdam was your idea.
I said I would meet him over there, but I didn't go, so I left him on his own.
Brilliant. Right, mate, on to the career. How early did you know that you were better than everyone else?
I think for me, I didn't really get that stage where I thought, I was good enough to be a professional footballer. I think it's different growing up sort of back home in Ireland. Obviously I was playing Gaelic football for years. I was playing soccer. I was just playing it for fun more than anything. I was doing my studies. I was always studying a sport and leisure management course in Belfast. It was a 2-year course, and it was actually halfway through that second year where I thought, I might have a chance here, because that's when obviously Derry City came in and Stephen Kenny obviously gave me the phone call. But sort of underage, I was always quite fast and always sort of got up players, created problems. We had a good team. We're like Northern Ireland champions like 3 years in a row, but I think we're a very, very good team. We came up against good teams, and we just were always consistent. And then I just sort of broke into the first team, but I was only in the first team at Dungan Swiss for 6 months, and I just had a good 6 months, and that obviously helped me when Derry came.
So see, when you're playing with Dungan and Swiss, you still playing Gaelic as well?
Yeah, it was.
Is that how your nose got it?
Your nose or my nose?
Oh mate, my nose is for bare ass boxing.
No, I think because you're young, you're fit, you're healthy. I don't think you can maybe do it as much now. I think growing up, I was always I was playing soccer matches on a Saturday and then playing Gaelic matches on a Sunday. I was never drunk until my 18th birthday, and I was a few West Coast coolers, a few WKDs, and I was steaming. But no, it was just, my managers were always good to me. They knew I had talent, and the Gaelic always weighed out with the soccer good, because I was maybe training soccer on a Tuesday night, Gaelic Wednesday night, soccer Thursday night, and then Gaelic. There was times, I remember I was playing a match with Dungan Swiss. We're playing against Linfield one afternoon about 3 o'clock, and straight from kick-off I had guys from my local GA club waiting in the car park for me to get off the pitch, go into the car, straight up and play a Gaelic match.
Straight after the first team game, you go and play Gaelic?
Straight after the first team game, just straight up and play.
So what do you think now when kids are getting 2 days off after games and stuff like that? Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. Regarding obviously me being older and stuff, it's obviously great, but kids can run all day, and obviously it's just an enjoyment factor, and it's one of those ones that it will get that stage in your career where obviously you go on and be successful at doing something, whether it's teaching, business. People are obviously going down the route of being a professional footballer, but regarding Gaelic, it's tough back home because it's not professional. Like I have a really good mate. He's an accountant, plays at the top level. He's in every morning at 8 o'clock. Big Colin Cavan, call him, and he's maybe not getting home to like 10 o'clock at night, because after work he's straight to training, and then he's training for 2 and 3 hours, and then he's getting home at like 10, 11 at night. You know what I mean? He's not getting a penny for it.
See, with Dungan and Swiss, were you always a winger? Was it always chalk on the boots, tucky winger?
Always a winger.
Old school winger, mate. We used to call you Stanley Matthews, remember? Because you were like a pure throwback man, weren't you?
Yeah, that's it. It was one of those ones that just plenty of confidence. Just any time I got the ball, I was always told just to run up players, and
That's gone as well now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it has. Like, it's definitely gone probably from my game over the years. I've developed into more of a sort of like a versatile player where I come in, maybe get on the ball, stay wide, get on the ball, try and obviously create problems and obviously create chances. But regarding against Swiss, it was always just get on the ball and score goals and just run a player just.
And then Derry came in for you. Is that a huge move?
Yeah, it was massive at the time. I think Billy Reid was over from Hamilton. He was actually watching at the time. I remember bumping into, I was down in Lockheed and Dundee at one time.
Lockheed, were you?
Yeah. Some like Celtic bar, because my agent Jerry, he brought me in one day. It was after like a Celtic game, and the man behind the bar, he was actually there the same night that Stephen Kenny had spotted me playing, because they were over watching, like, I think they were watching somebody else at the time, and I happened to do really well in the game. And he said, the big guy at the bar, he said,
Stevie Martin.
It might have been
the bald head.
I think so. So
he
he was standing one side of the pitch where I was playing, and he said as soon as the second half went, he walked around the other side, same side to me, to watch me. And they bumped into Stephen Kenny after the game, and they're like, straight away, you must be watching a wee tricky winger, like sort of playing winger. And Stephen Kenny said, nah. Next morning, Stephen Kenny on the phone wanted to sign me for Derry City.
That's how it came about?
Yeah,
would you have went to Hamilton, or would Derry have been your preferred?
I don't actually think Hamilton were there to watch me, so it was one of those ones probably Hamilton might have come in, but obviously Stephen Kenny was on the ball, he was straight away, and I was obviously still part-time at the time, and obviously when Stephen Kenny phoned me, I think he was just come back from Dunfermline at the time, and it was one of those ones that's like, wow, full-time football here, it's an opportunity for me to go to Derry City. So I left my studies, I was still working on a car wash, still working on the bar.
What are you working on a car wash?
Just trying to get as much money as possible. I'll go down about talking about the car wash later down the line when I sign for Celtic.
Right, okay. So Derry City, did you need to move away from home?
Yeah, but it was actually, I was always a home bird. I was driving young age, I was always into my cars.
I know what you were driving, picking birds up.
Nah, definitely not. But I love my cars. All the boys always give me stick. I used to come in and used to have the spoilers and all. So it was like wee Keats at Celtic. Used to come in this wee Fiesta souped up. But yeah, I had to move to Derry, but it was always Stephen Kenny was always good to me, because we had more or less the weekends off. Anytime we went from Derry till maybe Cork, Dublin, used to have to sort of drive past where I lived, so I always got my car left there and jumped off, and that was me home. But sort of the first couple of months settling in, I was always driving home like most days and stuff, and then Stephen Kenny just pulled me, he says, look, you need to stay up. And then I think from that moment on, when I'm staying up, I was getting used to the area, getting used to the whole environment, being a full-time professional footballer. My sort of career really sort of kicked on from there.
See, with Stephen Kenny, obviously he's tipped to be the next Republic of Ireland manager. Did you know back then how special he was?
Yeah, I think it's just you just sort of need to know Stephen to sort of know how to take him. His man management skills are second to none. He's very good. He's very hands on, and even obviously Paddy been on spoke about him, how highly of him he was, and even till today he's always kept a close eye on my career, and he was good for me personally. Like, I had only one good season there, and that was it, and that was me moved on to Celtic. But what he done for me was massive. Brought me to full time football, and I've nothing but thanks to him.
How does Stephen Kenny deal with Paddy McCourt?
How does anyone deal with him?
What was your the first time you seen Paddy? What was your impression?
Just reminded me of the first time he signed for Celtic. Just came in, the big bushy hair. I think when he signed for Celtic, he obviously got a trim and was a wee bit better. But when I came in at Derry City,
wasn't better.
I seen this boy with long hair, and I thought, wow, what's this? Because I didn't really sort of know too much about him, but obviously anyone who's played with him wants to get the footballs out and seen how good he was. He had a few injuries at the time, but him probably being injured probably maybe helped me come in and obviously play a lot quicker. And I just sort of had a very good consistent season and played a lot of football. But no, what a pleasure to play with Paddy.
Did he take you under his wing? Wing, sorry.
That is a good wig he has. But nah, yeah, he was always good with me regarding like he obviously. It just worked out well because he went to Celtic, and then not in a million years would I have thought 6 months later I'd be following in his footsteps and going to Celtic as well. But when I went to Celtic, definitely helped me a lot, and obviously at Derry City as well. He was always a good character, and then even Northern Ireland, me and Paddy always shared rooms together, so he was always good company.
Was he the one that would organise nights out and that then? Or he just got on his own, wouldn't he?
Nah, Paddy was always sort of kept himself to himself, but he loved probably a wee bottle of wine or two in the house. Even Northern Ireland, he would maybe sneak a wee bottle in the room now and again. But even when he lived in Glasgow, people think, like Paddy loved a night out, but he never ever went out in the city centre. Like, he would never ever think, let's go out in the city centre. He'd maybe drink in the house or something, but team nights out, he was always definitely at the forefront.
Did you ever sit on one of his prankies?
What's his prankies?
Phone calls now.
No.
Mate, see, it sounded like we were away at Cardiff Steve McPhail's testimonial when he phoned the Derry chairman and the Derry manager, at the same time?
I remember the two
They used
phones
to do
going.
that all the time, didn't
I think
they?
we used to do that actually when I met up in Northern Ireland school, but it was always brilliant fun. But it's good because he was used to always like nibbling, trying to talk, and then people thinking, "No, you phone me, no, you phone me." Thinking, what the hell?
Remember Craig Reid, who played for Motherwell? Was it Celtic when you were young?
Okay, yeah,
Reedy?
yeah.
Paddy phoned him saying he was the Derry City chief scout when he was at Motherwell. And he was telling Reedy he was going to give him like €2,000 a week.
Oh no!
See, by the end of the phone call, mate, I think Reedy had his bags packed ready to go. But the thing that done it was Craig. At the end, Craig Reid.
Oh no!
What's the exchange rate at the moment, so I can work out how much I'm going to get in British, mate? And we all just started pissing ourselves laughing.
It's easily done, so I'm sure there's people out there still wanting to do it.
Brilliant. Young Player of the Year 2008, and a call up to the national squad. Was that when the interest started to come for you?
I think sort of my agents always told me this, and which is the truth. I think about 6 months into my contract, I was just really consistent and I was really playing well. And sort of the chairman at Swansea at the time, he actually flew over on his own. He must have flew over about 7-8 times, but my agent didn't tell me this. So he followed me to Galway, followed me to Dublin, followed me to Cork, followed me everywhere, and I never had a Scooby-Doo what was happening because obviously he didn't tell me about it. I think nowadays sometimes maybe when you tell the players, such and such clubs watching, you might maybe go back into their shell. But regarding me, I was just playing for fun, enjoying myself. And then at the very end of that season, I had a great season, Young Player of the Year in Ireland, which was massive for me. And then Swansea came straight in, and I was just delighted then.
So what happened with Swansea? Why did you not go there?
So I remember it was Roberto Martinez as a manager and stuff, and the chairman was watching me week in, week out. I didn't have a clue. Jerry would always message me after games, how'd you get on type thing, you done well tonight, scored a few goals or whatever, and there's a happy days type thing, but never thought anything of it, of obviously moving on to the next level. So the call came about, look, Swansea want to sign you, so me and him just obviously packed the bags. We flew over one Friday night. I remember me and Jerry were just sitting in his house on a Friday night. I wasn't really a big drinker. I thought, happy days, I'm going over to sign for Swansea. So there's me sitting drinking a few Magners, and woke up the next morning, the worst hangover ever. Just being sick on the plane, going to the stadium, watch the game, and I wasn't feeling great. But regarding everything, everything was done and dusted, contract signed. But what I really liked about Swansea was Roberto Martinez after the game. He came into the room, spoke to me one-on-one, and then me and Jerry went back to the hotel. And then, I'm not joking, a couple hours later, he came to the hotel, met me, just told me about everything. He knew everything about me and stuff, and that was it. I was about to sign, and then I flew home to speak to my family and stuff. And then Jerry was away for the weekend, and he was coming back, and he's like, phoned me. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the house here. He's like, I need to speak to you. He's like, Neil Lennon's been on the phone. He's like, Celtic want to sign you. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then that was it. There's only one place I was going. That was Celtic.
So did you need to tell Martinez that you want to sign it?
Yeah, I just had to tell.
Did you phone him or did Jerry phone him?
No, Jerry done all the stuff. It was just a horrible feeling because of the fact of the chairman or the head of chief executive, he just followed me up and down the country for about 6 months, and then for obviously to sort of turn around and say, look, I'm going to Celtic. I think if it had been sort of maybe any other club, they mightn't have maybe took it as bad, but because it was Celtic, you grew up, you obviously supporting Celtic and stuff, and opportunity to sign for Celtic was nuts.
Just to be shout out for agent Jerry Carlisle.
What a guy.
What a guy, man. What a man.
Yeah, he's obviously helped me over the years. He's probably my good mate more than anything. We've been in the business together, restaurants and stuff, but regarding my career, he was a big Celtic fan as well growing up, but for him to have the opportunity to represent a guy who played for Celtic was massive. And I'm sure you've been to a few parties when you know what he's like.
By the way, where were you when he phoned you to tell you about Celtic? Can you remember where you were?
I was just sitting in the house with my family because I was only just home from Swansea, and I was just discussing a chance to go to Swansea with my mum and dad, and they're obviously delighted, they're over the moon. And obviously when he said Neil Lennon had been on the phone and obviously Celtic were interested, I was like, wow.
He's like jumping about the living room in there?
Just crazy, it's a wee bit surreal because it was just, I couldn't believe that I was obviously had the opportunity to move to such a big club. It hadn't sunk in. It didn't probably sink in until probably I was making my debut and
who
stuff
was
like that.
Who was the first person you spoke to for Celtic?
When did it move away? I think I went over, I signed, I was straight into the main office, met Peter Lawwell and that, and he was probably the main one. I remember I was going up to Lennoxtown, and I'll never forget this day. It was the end of my season, so our season ran from March time to November time, so I went in, done the VO2 max, and then I was going to be off for 4 or 5 weeks because I wasn't coming back until the January time. I remember walking in the canteen and Seamus Coleman was sitting there.
He was on trial, wasn't he? I remember him.
Seamus Coleman was sitting there, so I was thinking, because he had played against him because he was a Sligo Rovers and I was at Derry City. Both of us had a good season, and he was obviously on a few different trials, and I was thinking, Seamus Coleman must be signed for Celtic as well. But he obviously went on trial and probably Celtic's biggest regret not signing him, because I think he was going for maybe 50, 60 grand at the time or something. I can't remember the figures, but Seamus Coleman was sitting there, and
I remember him actually.
obviously they didn't sign. But I think throughout even my time there, I think they only ever signed one guy, and that was big Milan Massoon. Remember him? Big centre half. I think that was him. That was the only one I think ever signed on from a trial basis. Yeah.
So Paddy McCourt told us that he felt Gordon Strachan never really knew much about him. Did you feel that?
I was probably the same as well. I think I was probably a wee bit more different than Paddy, because see, when I went over, I didn't do all this big media stuff like holding the flag, and Paddy done all that obviously, and obviously all the players do it now. But I felt that like I was signing as like a development player, and that's probably what it was, to be honest. I came in the January, obviously like all the Razzies, but I came
the jobbies as well, the call ourselves.
The jobbies, but I enjoyed that, because I was obviously going to Celtic, and then there was an odd time where I joined in with Celtic, but sure, we had a good team that year, and we're obviously playing good football and winning games, going to Ibrox and beating Rangers and stuff.
Did you know when you moved in that you were going to be playing for the reserves?
I did sort of, yeah. It was a funny one, because it probably wasn't really brought across to me how it was, because I remember Strachan, he brought me to one of the games before. I didn't play, I didn't strip. He maybe brought one or two of the younger lads like to go and travel, maybe for experience more than anything, but I was sort of just always brought in maybe as a development player, and I've always stuck with that. I was brought in as a development player to try and obviously further my career and try and obviously break into the first team.
So did you ever have a chat with Strachan, or was it?
Not really, no. Just.
Did you find that a bit strange?
I think I did, yeah, at the start, but I was just sort of, I probably didn't know what was happening. I signed for one of the biggest clubs in the world. I was coming from Ireland. I was just, definitely not.
Quid in the bank.
But that was it. It was just get in, get started, and just keep the head down. And then once I went from being in your changing room, or our changing room at the time, to being in the first team squad, that's when I sort of knew stuff's going to get serious now, once I got moved into the first team changing room.
So who was the reserve manager when you came? Was it Willie?
Willie McStay, yeah.
You enjoyed playing for Willie?
Yeah, Willie was good. Just typical old Scottish character and banter about him. He was good with me.
And then what about when you first started training with the first team? Who was the ones you looked up to at Celtic?
I remember one of my first sessions of doing boxes, and Nakamura was there, and he just was unbelievable. He just couldn't give the ball away. McGeady was sensational. Paddy was obviously the same as well, but I think sort of me being that sort of type of winger, I always looked towards probably Nakamura and McGeady. McGeady was just unbelievable.
And turning they were two.
He was class. He would have been another type of character I always get on well with as well, because he even let me, like, I was always in the McCures. I used to take McGeady's Aston Martin for spins down out of Lanarkstown. Brownie used to give me his Porsche, and I used to take him for spins because I just love cars.
Did you? They would let you drive them?
They would just let me drive the cars, and away I went. But thankfully I came back unscathed.
Was there any characters that kind of took you under their wing at Celtic?
Well, under my wing, probably you had Paddy, you had probably Big Daz, you had Aiden, you had all the Irish boys, but Stokesy was always good to me as well, but I just sort of knew to keep my distance because he's a madman.
Is he a madman? I've never met Stokesy. He wasn't at Celtic when I was there. How is he a madman? What is he just...
I think madman in the sense of he's just daft and stupid. He probably didn't think things through, and typical example was, I think me, Paddy and Stokesy were back in Belfast for the weekend, and me and Paddy had flew back, and we came in train Monday morning, and Lanny came charging in the physio room. Paddy was always in the physio room, so I just came in to speak to Paddy, and Lanny came barging in, and he's like, Where's Stokesy? I was like, we don't know. But anytime Stokesy went missing or he done something, Lanny would always come to me and Paddy because they were Irish. So he's like, he must be still in Belfast. And obviously Lanny phoned Stokesy, got a hold of him. He's like, I missed my flight. But he told him lies. Like, I think the flight was the wrong time. So he ended up having to get the next flight, come in later, and Lanny just ran him up and down the pitch for about 2 hours.
Was he some player, eh?
Yeah, he was unbelievable talent. And he's obviously still playing at a decent enough level now, but he probably should have prolonged maybe more of his career at Celtic, definitely.
See, when you first started training with the first team, did you think straight away, wow, this standard's... Did you feel comfortable in that standard? Did you think, I need to get better here?
No, I knew 100%. Going from obviously playing League of Ireland, it was a massive step up, even moving across to Scotland, even playing with some of the reserve boys, because you had sort of some of the first team boys playing in reserves, like Paddy and whatnot, and you had good players, so I even found that probably a bit of a step up as well, because I was still learning the game. I was only like a year down the line into professional football, and for me to go from that to even in the first team, training the first team, was just massive. I was just always nervous probably, and but me sort of being how I am, it probably being tricky winger, probably being fast, probably got me out of like good situations at times, and it worked for me.
You said you were a home bird. Was there times that you found it difficult to Celtic and you actually thought about going in?
Not at Celtic. I think at Derry City, that with Stephen Kenny putting his arm around me and a couple of months into that saying, look, you need to live here, I think that got me used. But I think I think the age that I went over was important for me because I went over at 18, 19. I was at a good age. You see a lot of players moving across when they're 14, 15. Stay in Scotland and England for 2 or 3 years to get homesick and then they're straight home again and maybe their career goes down the line. But I had sort of good family behind me, good people behind me, and even sort of my agent at the time, he always warned me how big of a fishbowl Glasgow is regarding like Celtic and Rangers. And I think even me from sort of growing up in Northern Ireland was sort of maybe the divide between the two. You always sort of knew how mad it was going to be. And then when I went on to sort of make my Northern Ireland debut, when I was at Derry City at the time, Nigel Warrington phoned me. I thought it was one of the boys taking the piss. So he phoned me and he said, look, I want you to be coming in the Northern Ireland team. But I was still playing Derry City time. And even for me to play for Northern Ireland at that stage of my career was massive as well. So I think everything was sort of just coming together. I think it was a period of about 18 months. I went from maybe playing in front of 60 odd people at Dungannon Swift to making my debut in front of 60 odd thousand in Celtic Park. It's crazy.
Could you believe the stick that you get at Celtic when you give the ball away in even training?
It's just part and parcel. I think.
Was that a shock to you, thought? Because did that happen to Derry as well?
No, I think it just happens everywhere.
Yeah.
I think you just get certain types of characters. Even to now, there's always like one or two. I played with Barry Robson, played with Willow Flood. These guys are always ammonious players, like to have in your team. You were always ammonious as well. But you need that. I think you need that because you need to kick up the backside sometimes to help you.
It's Gordon Stratton. Obviously, he's famous for his one-liners. Did he ever give you a bit?
Never. My 6 months, I probably never sat down and had a full-scale conversation with him. So I was only there. Like, it was just basic hellos and that in the corridor and stuff, but I was there for 6 months. I was always with Willie McStay, Donny McGrain, with the reserves, and that was it. And then once Tony Mowbray came in, that's when things got serious for me.
What was your initial impressions when Tony Mowbray came in, except for thinking that he looked like you?
That's a bit harsh.
On Tony. So see when Strachan went, were you quite happy because you didn't look like you were going to get a chance under him, did you?
Yeah, no, I was probably delighted. It's like anything. It's like if a manager leaves before sort of start of a pre-season, everyone sort of rubs their hands. Everyone's like a fresh slate. I'm sure it's different for certain other players, but I felt I was there for 6 months. I was getting plenty of like football in the reserves, but I wanted to like push on, get to the next level. I wanted to obviously play for Celtic, so I thought when Tony came in, just get my head down, work hard. I was always like a naturally fit lad. I always like worked really hard. I always done well in the testing and stuff. And I remember sitting in the house on the Friday night. Celtic were playing the Wembley Cup at the time, and got the phone call. I think it was me and Ryan Conroy. Got the phone call. I think we went down. Celtic played on the Friday night. Got the phone call. Look, we need you to come down to Wembley. So we flew down on the Saturday. And that's when I came on and made my debut for Celtic. Came on against Tottenham at Wembley, which was surreal. I
came on that day, so I was hopeless. You were good, I remember it.
I just got the ball and ran.
And see, after that, did Mowbray take to you straight after your debut?
I think my second game was Man City. Did you play at Man City? No,
I played Man City.
Yeah, because that was my second game as well. So that was probably quite good for all of us because it gave him the opportunity to see all of us and see how we were. And I obviously must have impressed him to think. Because I think under that season I played my most football. Well, if I wasn't starting, I was always maybe first or second sub. So I ended up playing maybe over 20, 25 times that season, which was massive for me.
Right, your debut came in 2009, as you said, 10 years ago.
It's crazy.
Mad to think that.
Jesus.
Did you know beforehand you were going to play?
I did, because I remember I was home with Northern Ireland. We had a game on, I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday night. I came back and trained on the Thursday. And Tony pulled me. He says, "Look, you're making your debut on Saturday." I'm thinking, no chance. Like you're having me on. He said, Aidan suspended. So McGeady was suspended. And he said, "Look, you're playing." So he's like, "I'll go and tell your family and stuff, tell your friends." So straight on the phone to man, dad, telling everyone I'm obviously starting on Saturday. So they all flew over for the game. And although the game didn't go well, we drew the game. But obviously a bittersweet moment, picking up man of the match in my debut.
How many came over for Ireland?
I think it was only maybe 4 at the time, but I remember like when I was younger and stuff, I used to go over the games, and I always remember my first goal at Celtic Park. I scored into the same goal Alan Thompson scored his goal when Celtic beat Rangers 1-0. I can't remember the year it was, but I travelled over in the boat, and like I was going to the games and stuff, and I remember being on the boat and there wasn't like a massive Celtic support on the boat, so it was the craziest journey coming home, because Celtic had just beat Rangers. Rangers are all noisy and rowdy coming home in the boat, and there's me and my wee Celtic top, but I had to like cover it over because it was like intimidating. So like, it was only like a group of 5 of us in the car, and we always had to like cover up our clothes and stuff, even getting off the boat and stuff, because you just never know what you could have came across or got attacked or something. It was just really intimidating back then. But to think sort of being right behind the goal for Alan Thompson to score his winner, then for me to go on and score my first goal in the same goal was
See,
incredible.
when you scored, did you remember back to?
Yeah, I remember it straight away. Just because against Kilmarnock, I came on as a sub and just caught it sweetly and scored that goal. And I just remember it was in the same end.
See, when you ran it for your debut, did you see your mum and dad and that in the stand?
They were just sort of up in the stand, but I didn't sort of try and look for him because I was just focused on the game. And Paddy was on to me before the game, just giving me advice and stuff. And he's just saying, just get on the ball, get one or two touches, keep it simple, and then obviously just bed your way in the game. So to have guys like that giving me confidence going into games was great, and yeah, it worked out well.
Did you love it? How was the debut brilliant?
Debut was just, I can't remember too much of it now. It was just a surreal moment, and to think sort of I would have the opportunity to make my debut for Celtic was crazy, and thankfully I did it.
See, when you got your debut, did you think, this is me now, I'm going to be a Celtic player, I'm going to stay in the team? Or did you know that as soon as Aidan came back, you'd be at the team? I
just felt it was always going to be difficult because you had Aidan who was going to come straight back into the team probably anyway, and it was just one of those ones. I felt I had the manager's confidence, that he had confidence in me that I was going to play, and that's what I said earlier. Like under that season, if I wasn't playing, I was always maybe first or second sub. I always felt like I was involved, and I sort of personally for me, I had like a good season because I played a lot of football. But regarding the team wise, and I think just regarding sort of the ins and outs of the club and how much players came in and gone, the sort of overchange of all the players, it was probably quite hard to probably get a consistency.
See, after the man of the match, did Mowbray congratulate you boys in the changing room in there?
Looking back, I don't even know, to be honest. I can't remember. I was just get out, see my mum and dad, and see obviously my friends and stuff who came over, my agent. It was just let's go and enjoy the moment. How
good is life when you're a Celtic first team player? You're going out every Saturday night in Glasgow. Do you need to watch what you're doing as well, though?
Massively. I think if there's one person probably fulfilled his 2.5 years of being a Celtic player, it'd probably be me. I think I used to go to Santa Ponza every summer. I used to see Paul Caddis bouncing.
He's still going.
Yeah, he's still going. He's got the hurriest feet I've ever seen. Used to see Paul Caddis in the Shamrock Bar. I used to go there was maybe a group of 5 of us, me, my agent, his cousin, and a few of the boys from Belfast. We used to go every summer. And 5 years, and then I went to the Celtic conventions in Vegas. I remember I showed up, I was at the pool parties, and there's probably 4,000 and 5,000 people around the pool party, and there's me in the middle of the pool, and they're all singing songs and stuff. And
you were playing for Celtic at the time,
I was playing Celtic at the time, and it was just surreal, like how well I was looked after regarding any sort of events or conferences I went to was incredible. And for them, and then I think another big thing as well was growing up back in Ireland, and even West Belfast is obviously renowned as a massive Celtic supporting area. So when my agent Jerry came to me to open up a restaurant in Belfast, we called it Falcha. So another big thing was I got 6 or 7 of the boys together. It was Mark Crosas, McGeady, Big Joss Hoyveld, I think Killian Sheridan was there.
I remember that, they all went over, didn't they?
They all went over to Belfast. So for whether it was Rangers or whether it was Celtic, if it was Celtic fans in the middle of West Belfast, or was Rangers in the middle of Shankill, for sort of a Celtic player at that time to open up a restaurant in their community was massive, and for them to have 6 and 7 current Celtic players in their area was massive, because they would never hear the like that ever.
So see, when you go back to Belfast being a Celtic player, and your area obviously a massive Celtic area, would you get mobbed?
Like I'm from a very small village, probably 4,000 or 5,000 people, so everyone would know me. But even to now, like I get it all the time, whether I'm playing against Rangers or I'm playing against Hearts. They're always calling me obviously names regarding Celtic, if you know what I mean. Because once you play for Celtic, it's going to obviously live with you for your rest of your career. But look, it can only be a good thing.
What about any bad situations going back to Belfast?
I think the worst situation, which was hard for me and probably my family, was when me and Neil Lennon got the bullets in the post. I think I was in the hotel with a game the next day, and I heard this big chop at the door, and Lenny's at the door, and he walked the door, and Lenny's standing looking at me, and I'm thinking, what have I done here? Like, I've obviously done nothing. He's like, look, there's been bullets sent to yourself and me, but they've been intercepted. There's going to be a big story coming out in the papers tomorrow. Look, I just came here to tell you that obviously go and phone your mum and dad. So I didn't want my mum and dad open up the newspapers next morning saying, oh wow, their son's been obviously attacked by being sent bullets. So I phoned them straight away, obviously calmed my mum down and stuff, and just said, look, there's going to be a story coming out in the newspaper tomorrow regarding obviously the bullets sent to me and the manager. But it sort of blew over quite quickly. It was actually after the 2-0 game at Ibrox where I made my Old Firm debut, where Big Sammy scored 2. And it all sort of escalated from that. I think it's probably because obviously Celtic beat Rangers, and it just escalated from that. Probably me being a local boy from back home, maybe Rangers fans from Northern Ireland just didn't like it, and obviously went out of their way to do it.
See, after that, do you have fear, like for your family and that? Do you worry?
Yeah, obviously you think like you just have to forget about it. I know it's hard sometimes to forget about it, but I remember, like, I think it was a month or two later, the exact same thing happened to Paddy, because Paddy had done the same. His was delivered maybe towards Celtic Park or whatever, so it comes with obviously playing for probably Celtic or Rangers. It's just part and parcel of the job, but it's one of those ones you just have to get it out of your mind as quickly as possible. I have done.
Right, mate, good points. Team night, so who'd be the boys you'd be at Celtic? Who was your wee posse? Danny Lafferty?
Danny Lafferty, geez, what a guy. Nah, Danny was... I remember Paddy telling a story about him leaving the house in the middle of the night. But nah, Danny lived with me. I think he lived with Killian Sheridan for months at a time, but Danny always done the same to me. He'd, like, on a Friday night, you'd just be sitting there eating dinner and he'd just leave. Ready to go to train Monday morning, no sign of him. He's away Friday, away Saturday, Sunday, and he'd phone you Monday morning, can you come pick me up from here? Come pick me up from here, and then you have to go and pick him up from maybe some random hotel. But what a boy, Jesus Christ.
What about, you liked the night out, didn't you?
I was probably out quite a lot, but I never drunk much. I was always driving.
Take your car.
Take my car, and if I pulled a wee lady, why not? Do you know what I mean? So you had a, what do you call it? You had to look after myself and obviously others as well. But regarding nights out, you had Mad Daz. He loved the night out. Brownie and Paddy obviously loved the night out as well. But when I would always good team nights out. Even Big Arthur and Big Saluska at the time, like, we used to go out for dinner and they used to just drink vodka shots just. Straight. One after another. They'd probably go through like 2 bottles and it wouldn't faze them. Just incredible. Like, if we had a wee half-quarter bottle, we'd be on our back.
See, when you got in the first one, did you change like your diet, the way you trained? Did you give everything to be a Celtic player, or do you think you could have worked a wee bit harder? I think it was always. I always ate quite well. I always worked hard. I was always naturally very fit, and I think that always came from me having a good sort of younghood. I think Gaelic is extremely tough, and I think Gaelic always stood me in good stead to go on and be a professional footballer. I think it was just injuries picked up at the wrong times, and I done my metatarsal at the very last training session of the season under Mowbray, and then when obviously Lenny came in, I didn't get back playing until I think it was October, November, and Lenny brought me into the team. We played St Johnstone twice, my first 2 games. I scored in the first game and then I scored 2 goals in the second game. I was within the week and it was brilliant. I was playing loads of football, enjoying my football. And then I remember that January transfer window, the likes of Chris Commons and all came in, and they obviously just came in, hit the ground running, and it was just obviously going to be hard from them. But I always felt that I probably could have prolonged it a lot more if things had went my way a bit more regarding maybe injuries and obviously maybe more opportunities. But I've no grudges against anyone, because you had James Forrest coming through at the time, who was sensational. Could you tell he was?
Yeah, you just knew. He just was probably quite similar to myself when I was at young age. There was just no fear, just get on the ball and speed of him, and obviously Lenny loved him, so obviously Lenny always had his arm around him and stuff, and obviously helped him massively.
Ask everyone that comes on this who played under Tony Mowbray, why did it go wrong? Because his ideas, as everyone says, were really good, but was it the dynamic between him, Venus and Peter Grant, do you think?
Possibly. I think it's always results based business, and we just weren't getting the results, and I think...
Were the players not good enough to?
I think the players probably were, but as I said earlier, it's probably maybe the amount of change that we're having. So sometimes when you're constantly changing the squad, you maybe don't get that maybe the consistency. The manager maybe feels like he should be playing somebody, maybe shouldn't be playing others, and then probably players maybe aren't getting happy. And I think if it all comes together and you aren't getting the right results, it's obviously going to result in the manager getting the boot. Is
it hard being a Celtic player when you're going through hard times like that? The team's not doing well?
I think so. I think definitely. I think when you're sort of playing week in, week out, and obviously things are good, it's like you're untouchable. But see, when obviously the crowd's on your back and you're not winning, it's probably the worst place to be be honest. It's even I find at Aberdeen now, if you're winning games, it's great. But see, when the times are tough, probably like now, it can be hard.
Robbie Keane came in. Is he your hero? Growing up, Robbie Keane, one of your heroes now.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember I got his jersey and stuff when I actually played against Ireland. I was probably like Paddy. I was a wee bit sort of starstruck. Robbie Keane coming in Celtic, and I was sort of taken back. But it was a big statement from the club to bring a player of that calibre in, and even just watching him his training, his movement, and how good he was. He was special.
Paddy followed him everywhere, didn't he?
If Paddy won the slice of ham, and if Robbie Keane won the slice of ham and bottle of wine, Paddy would come get it for him. He used to drive to the airport to pick him up, but the boys used to cane him all the time. Like, just anything Robbie wanted done, Paddy was just there. Like if you wanted Paddy to do something for you, probably no chance. But if Robbie Keane wanted to do something, Paddy was there.
Was he a top man, Robbie Keane?
Yeah, he was great. He was always good with me and stuff, and to have the opportunity to play with him was special for me. So yeah, no, he was great.
So Tony Mowbray leaves. Did you know when he was going to get the job? Were you tight with Lenny because he was a reserve manager then, wasn't he?
Yeah, Lenny was always good to me because he's obviously sort of played for Northern Ireland, being a Celtic player. And
would you speak about stuff like that when he was a reserve manager?
Yeah, just probably a wee bit. Just I think just always guiding me through things, and like he obviously gets stick as well, and then me and Paddy get stick because we obviously play for Celtic and Northern Ireland. But I think as times have moved on and people realise you're a young lad, you're growing up from back home, you're out there, you're always going to give 100%. You're playing for Northern Ireland, so for me to be a young player playing for Derry City at the time, to have that opportunity to go and make my debut for Northern Ireland was surreal, if you know what I mean. I'm going to play international football, and if that can benefit my career and play for Northern Ireland for as long as I possibly could, then so be it, why not? And here I am now with 58 caps. So
brilliant. Can you remember when Lenny, his first meeting with the boys after he took over?
I can't remember the first meeting now, but he was always he was always very good. His man management skills was excellent. He always got his points across. He always was hard on you when you needed to be hard on. If games weren't going well, he would definitely come in and obviously tell you that you weren't playing well. But he was always sort of good with sort of the Irish boys, as you'd like to say, because he had obviously sort of been the same sort of background upbringing as probably me, and that definitely sort of helped me. And he always definitely guided me along.
What's the maddest you've seen him go?
Probably on Stokesy, when Stokesy didn't turn up that flight. But I think, definitely Stokesy. But he didn't ever sort of come in and go bananas at me. But he would always go through one by one and just sort of making laughs and jokes. You would obviously.
Were you a wee bit scared then?
Probably a wee bit when he got angry, but the old story about when he went mad at Martin Boyle was probably one of the best stories.
What's that? Go tell us.
No, I don't know. I think it is true, but obviously Martin Boyle was playing for Hibs at the time, and he must have had a bad game. And Lanny's come in and he says, "You're not even the best footballer in your house." His missus plays for Hibs ladies.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. Did Lenny? Would you ever go to a manager and moan about not playing?
No, I would always be I've always been very bit shy and probably a wee bit intimidated, to go in and knock the manager's door. The only time I've probably ever went in and spoke to the manager would be probably Derek McInnes.
As you've got older,
As I've got older and a wee bit more experience, and I felt there's certain times you need to go in and speak to the manager, and there's certain times you just need to keep your head down and go in. But I was never the type of character to go in and chap the manager's door. Definitely not. That's probably because I was scared, probably more than anything, to be honest.
Do you think you would have played more have you had it done that?
Who knows, possibly. But as I said earlier, when that stage came, Chris Commons and stuff came in, and I wasn't playing as much. I remember, we played Aberdeen, we beat them 9-0, which was a crazy game, and just three things like that didn't go my way, because I started the game, we're playing well, we're 4 or 5-0 up at half time. Big Thomas Rongan gets sent off, so I had to sacrifice an attacking player, so I came off. But we ended up winning 9-0. But I remember, I think it was 2 weeks later, we played Aberdeen again. I played the full game 1-0. I remember Lenny coming in after the game and he singled me out for having a really good game. I think it was Freddie Lundberg at the time might have come on and played. But I remember him singling me out, and then ever since that moment, I don't think I've ever kicked a ball for Celtic ever again.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's just probably part and parcel of the players that came in at the time, and they obviously I just fell down the pecking order, and obviously these players came in and hit the ground running and done really well. And I think the final nail in the coffin was at the end of that season. I was away with Northern Ireland. I came back, and I think Celtic were heading to Australia at the time, so I was getting excited, ready to go to Australia, and he says, "You're not coming." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I think you've been away with Northern Ireland. I'd just rather you stay here and rest up." And then I just sort of felt at that time that was obviously time for me to move on. I felt like I'm coming back for pre-season. I want to go to Australia, and then that was it. I wasn't told I was going to Australia, and then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, you're going to Brentford. And I was like, wow, type thing, because I just felt if I had went and got another good pre-season, you just never know what could have happened. So I just felt it was probably a wee bit unlucky and fortunate, because I was an international player at the time. I was coming back from being away international. I'm sure there was other international boys as well who went away on the trip, and I just felt he probably didn't. He probably had other players ahead of me in the packing order that he obviously fancied more than me.
Did you think that was fair that they were ahead of you? Do you think you were as good as them?
I felt at the time I probably had the potential to obviously go on and prolong my career at Celtic. I would always have good belief in myself that I could have done. I think as years go on, you get more experience, and obviously you learn a lot more. And I think if I had them opportunities, then I probably could have done. Yeah, definitely. But it just shows you that when I left Celtic to go to Brentford and then come back to Aberdeen and go on and have such a good time at Aberdeen, it just shows you that for Lenny even to come back in for me again at Hibs, to try and sign me at Hibs, it just showing that he obviously did like me in the end.
See, when you're a young kid and you're like in and out of the team, when you play, is there extra pressure on you? You need to do something special, because if you didn't, then you're out of the team again.
I think for Celtic, once you're in the team, you have to perform 8s, 9s out of 10s every week just to play.
Is that tough?
Yeah, it's extremely tough. See, when the players I've named, like Jamesy, Chris Commons, players like that, Paddy and McGeady and stuff, when you had players like that, if you're not playing, somebody else is gonna come in and play ahead of you. So I think it just sort of, when I came into the team under Lenny and I was playing, I probably maybe got to the stage where maybe we weren't doing as well. I think Hooper was missing at the time. We weren't really scoring goals, and it was just really a hard period for me to come in and obviously do really, really well, with obviously the team not doing so well. See, if I had to come in and I was constantly playing and the team was doing well and winning games, then it probably would have been easier for me, because I was actually playing, the team wasn't doing well and we're probably missing like certain players. It probably had a backdrop on probably likes himself.
Right, Brentford, did you say loan move to Brentford, meaning your Celtic contract would be finished by the time you came back? Were you a bit wary of going, or was there no option, you had to go?
It was one of those ones that just sort of came about. It wasn't like I didn't sort of really have the option. It was like Celtic came to me and says, look, you're going to Brentford, you're going out here to play games, and I thought, okay then. But I think looking back and thinking of my time there under Rosler was a good manager.
Rosler,
he was a mad man on the sideline, constantly on the sideline. If somebody gave the ball away, he was just running up and down the sideline, or if you give the ball away, somebody was getting warmed up because you were coming off. So he was very he was mad in that sense, but he was a good manager, and I think Brentford helped me sort of in the circumstances of I must have played 30 or 40 times that season, scored a few goals, had a decent season, and that probably helped me to sort of go on to Aberdeen to do well, because I hadn't played that amount of football in a full season since Derry City.
But did you know, see, as soon as you went on loan to Brentford, did you know your Celtic career was over?
I think I definitely did. I felt that they probably maybe didn't take a keen interest in me as much. I felt that there was nothing I could possibly do to probably get back there. It was just obviously Celtic were sort of moving on, and I was obviously going a different way. But for Aberdeen to come in at the time it did was perfect for me. And
it was Craigie Brown reporting for a party.
I remember it was actually smart work from my agent at the time, Jerry.
That'll be a first.
I was home, got the phone call from Jerry. He says, look, Craig Brown's coming over from Scotland. I was like, right, okay. He says, I'm taking him to watch a boy called Danny North. He was playing for, I think it was Sligo Rovers at the time. Would you like to come to the game? And I said, aye, no reason why not. So picked Craig Brown up, picked me up, and went to Jerry's house, and Craig Brown got a wee tin of Coke and a wee packet of cheese and onion crisps. He sat in the back, let me sit in the front, and he was happy as a pig in shite in the back, eating away, chatted the whole way. Went to the game, and he didn't realise at the time I was out of contract. And I remember I was just sort of sitting there, and he sort of leant into Jerry, and he was speaking to Jerry, and I was sort of sitting in the background. That was grand. They were like, oh, what's the situation now? And he's like, oh, he's out of contract. So Craig Brown's sitting in the back, I'm sitting in the front, heading home, and he sort of just leant into the front, and he says, how do you feel about coming to Aberdeen? I said, wow. He said, no, but I want you to come to Aberdeen. I want you to be my striker at Aberdeen. He says, I've watched you at Celtic, and I see like how you are as a player. You're fast. You can create obviously goals, score goals. He says, look, I want you to come to Aberdeen and be a striker. And I was like, thought, why not? This is unbelievable. This is like a top manager having faith in me, who he's never worked with, but has seen me from probably the outside in. For him to say that, to bring me to Aberdeen as a striker, I thought, why not? Just go and give it a shout. And the rest is history. I came in and had such an unbelievable season. Scored 22 goals or something? 22 goals.
See, just on Craig Brown, we've interviewed him. He's a top man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just. I remember him doing a big interview. It's like a 2-3 minute interview. I remember BBC for Northern Ireland flew over, done an interview with me, and then went in, done an interview with him, and they just all loved him. How highly they spoke about him. He took time out for everyone, and I'll never forget it. The words he had to say about me at the time was unbelievable. And he said I was like son-in-law material, so which was nice for him to say. So I don't know whether many people believe that, but that's true words. He said
brilliant. See, when you first went to Aberdeen, could you believe how big a club they were?
I knew how big of a club they were regarding playing against them, and yeah, they're always a massive club. But see, when I signed there, I probably didn't realise how big they were until I actually started playing for them. But under that first season, we probably had a shocking season. I think we finished 7th or 8th. But me personally, I had just an unbelievable season.
And why do you think that was? Just playing every week? Just
playing every week, playing with freedom, having the confidence of Craig and Archie. But I think they just always played me through the middle. Like, you know yourself, see when you're not playing well, but you're getting chances and you're still scoring goals. More than often than not, you think, if you get 3 or 4 chances a game, you might score 1. If you get 1 chance, you might score. If you get 5 chances, I just felt I was always going to score. And the season I had then was I was even scoring headers. When have I scored headers?
Couldn't believe it when I was seeing it, mate. See, when you played then, that first year at Aberdeen, would Craig Brown just give you a free rein, just go and play?
Yeah, just go and play. Just come in, enjoy your football. I had a tough start because I got injured after the second game. I'd done my ligaments. I was out for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. John Sharp at the time, being old school, and he just got me really, really fit. But I came back in, and I think I went on and done sort of some record, or I scored in 8 consecutive games. I think it was 9 was going to be the record, but I scored in 8. But to go on and just have sort of a good season of being a striker was crazy.
Who was the main man in the dressing room then? Was Paul Hartman there?
No, he wasn't there at the time. He was there at Celtic at the time with me. You'd like to sort of maybe Gavin Ray, sort of the older experience, big Russell Anderson, the older boys, and then you had mad Josh McGinnis. He was just crazy all the time.
Josh McGinnis, yeah. He's going to be a madman, isn't he?
He's just hyper. He's ADHD and he just hates sleeping on his own. I remember in Chile,
same problem as
see when I go away with internationals, he always has to share a room, and I'm the only person in the Northern Ireland squad who can tolerate him. Who's the only guy who can sleep in a room with him. Whether he's sniffling, he's scratching, he's farting, he's doing all sorts. But he is obviously a really good friend, and I love him to bits. But just hated sleeping on his own. Me and went to Chile. It must have been 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago, and me and Sammy Clingan were always like sharing a room, and he obviously got a wee bit jealous, and he just got his mattress straight into my room, 3 of us together, and his room was free, so that was it.
Brilliant. You scored Ronaldo's 100th cap for Portugal. What was he like to play against? Amazing.
It was just, I think the 100th cap, when we played in the 100th cap, it was actually, I came in, I scored 2 goals away to I think I scored 1 goal away to Kilmarnock. My form was good at the time. I scored like 3 and 3, and Michael, I actually remember the start of that campaign. It was Russia away, and it's really hit me hard then, because Northern Ireland named the team. I wasn't in the squad. I wasn't named in the team. It was Russia away, and I think Northern Ireland could beat the time. And then I had a few good games for Aberdeen, doing well, scoring goals. Michael called me in. I went in. I just went into the mindset, I'm going in to work hard, put my head down, with a good training camp in Portugal. I must have went in and just impressed, and he just threw me in out of nowhere just to play, starting. So I went from not being in the squad to play against Ronaldo in his 100th cap, and then how he wanted me to play as a winger was just like obviously work hard, and just once we got the ball, just to counter attack, and that's when Johnny Evans stepped in, got the ball, played the big laughs, and then laughs obviously played me in, and I scored against Portugal. That was my first goal, and that was incredible.
Was that the best feeling of your career?
Scoring the Euros was my best feeling of my career, but to get my first international goal against Portugal on Ronaldo's 100th cap, the whole occasion was about Ronaldo, and then for obviously a wee local boy like me to obviously take it away from him was sensational.
Did you speak to Ronaldo during the game or after?
Didn't know, but
not a word.
I think I've played against Ronaldo a couple of times. We played him in Belfast, and it just shows you how good he is. The first half he just wasn't involved. He didn't touch the ball, didn't do anything. He not Mike Davo at the time, which was incredible. But I remember the second half we were just playing, and he just scored a hat-trick out of nowhere, just like that.
Right.
But I think it was down to Big Laughs. Big Laughs came on as a sub, and he was told to mark Ronaldo, and straight away he scored. and then he got sent off.
Brilliant. Right, back to Aberdeen. Craig Brown, obviously, assistant Archie Knox. How hard can Archie Knox be? Did they used to? Nicky Lowe told me they used to argue with each other in training.
When I first came to Aberdeen, we were training at the old cricket pitch, but Archie was proper old school. But I liked how he was, because I remember even pre-season, we had a game, and we came in after the game, the boys had showered and stuff, and I'm sitting beside, I think it was wee Cammy Smith at the time. I'm sitting, big Archie's forgot to put his trousers on. He's like, no. So Archie puts his socks on, he puts his shoes on, and then he puts his trousers on last. Because they're like Ric Flair ones he can get away with, but to this day he's always put his trousers on last. I'm thinking, this madman's forgot his, what do you call it, trousers?
Would Archie go mad after games now?
Yeah, he would come in, he was flip, but Craig Brown would always probably take the back seat. He was more chilled and calm, but Archie would come in. But what I found about Archie, he was really good. He was tremendously good for Ryan Fraser.
He developed young players.
I get injured, and Ryan Fraser came in for me to play, and then ever since he obviously stayed in the team. But he was good for me that season because he created me a lot of goals. But every morning you come in, you'd be sitting in the change room, you'd hear Risey, and that's Archie Knox shouting. So Risey had to come out, and he had to go and make him like tea and toast every morning. He had to do all sorts for him, and that's why Archie was so good with the likes of Risey. And then obviously he went on to he's obviously having a great career now.
Fraser similar to Forrest, could you tell straight away?
What's that?
Ryan Fraser, was he similar to James Forrest? You could tell straight away that he was going to be top.
You'd tell he was just very raw. He was a wee bit probably more more sturdier and stronger maybe at James at the time maybe, and he just was just raw pace, but you could tell that the lad was like a talented lad, and he's obviously, I think a lot of people thought going to Bournemouth at the time, I think he's maybe taking a step sideways, but I think Bournemouth were in League One at the time. And everyone, a lot of people probably said, no, it's not a great move, but it's obviously turned out to be a great move for him, and it's one of those ones, he's probably had a rough and tough, he had a few loan spells, and he's obviously went on and done very well, and he's obviously playing the Prem now.
Brilliant. Did you ever get roasted off Archie Knox?
No, I think...
How come you always get away with it and nobody shouts at you?
Because I was the only one probably scoring goals. Yeah, and I was his neighbour. I was living below him and I always seen him, and I think I always had that good relationship with Archie and Craig, because I was always just constantly in their surroundings. I was always like just being myself, but I was never, I don't think ever, never probably got a roasting, because the team were probably doing so bad that season where I was probably doing so good, because I won all sorts of awards that season and I scored 20 odd goals, and that was probably why I probably didn't get the blunt of it. Did
you ever hang about together, the 3 years in a flat in it?
No. Craigie Brown didn't invite me to any of his probably parties.
See, after that first season, was there clubs interested to take you away?
There probably wasn't really much talk, to be honest. There probably was maybe a few clubs sniffing, but it was one of those ones I just had a great season, but probably because we finished so low down the league, probably maybe teams weren't maybe taking an interest. And I was up for Player of the Year that season. There was 4 of us up. I think Big Higdon won that year, and I think he had a mad night out.
So he did. He was in the jail that, wasn't he?
He went to the jail, but so, anyone could have got it that night, and unfortunately I didn't get it.
Were you sad to see Craig and Archie go then, or do you think that was what was needed for the club?
I think massively a bit of both. I think I was obviously sad because he brought me to the club and he was so good to me, and I was playing, I was enjoying my football, but I knew sort of that the club sort of needed to obviously move another step forward, and that's what obviously McInnes came in. He just came in, grabbed the ball by the horns. Regarding training facilities, everything sort of went up that notch. Even sort of every day training, it just was just sort of maybe more new. He came in with new ideas. Him and Tony Dock, and they were obviously good since they came in. They just came in, hit the ground running, and just sort of probably made everything a lot better than what it was. You obviously have Craig and Archie who are great for Aberdeen and great for me, and they had their own ideas, and then obviously the new manager had his own ideas.
Spoke to Mark Reynolds just that he said
Isa still
here. See, when I ask him for on boys, mate, he can't wait to tell you. But he says you were tight, you and Johnny Hayes are like brothers, and I ask him why Johnny Hayes' oldest kid is your double.
I think I was always like, his missus was always good to me. I obviously was living on my own. And
what do you mean?
Just cook me dinner and stuff.
Right.
I think Gus Reynolds gets his jokes from me. He just always liked Johnny. He just always thought the kid was mine because it was in his house that much. But he's ginger, so he's definitely not.
Did you have to offer Johnny Hayes straight away?
Yeah, well, I always heard loads of stories about Johnny even before I met him, like how maybe mad he was. He loved the night out around Inverness, and obviously his missus seemed to settle him down, or I think I settled him down. But now, me and him, we sat together. It was Rooney, me and Johnny, and the 3 of us always got on so well, and just we obviously worked together on the pitch as well. I think just sort of having that Irish relationship straight away. It's been at every club I've been at, it's just any Irish boys there. Brentford, it was Jonathan Douglas, and
Dougie, what a man.
Yeah, great guy. So he's obviously he was great for me. Me and him just used to go over Starbucks every day and stuff. Now you always get that with clubs. You always just sort of socialise with the Irish, and then obviously get on with everyone else.
What did Dale want from you? How did Dale change your game from Craig Brown? Was it Dale that wanted you to play wide?
Yeah, Gaffer just wanted me to play wide. He just felt that obviously having Rooney there and obviously having other strikers at the time, and he just felt that having me wide one side and having Johnny on the other side could create problems and obviously score goals, and it worked out well. I couldn't complain too much because I was still playing. I was still like scoring goals, creating goals, and I've went on to score maybe 78, 79 goals for Aberdeen. That's from playing obviously wide, the majority of it, which is good for me. So I always challenge myself for like double figures every season, and for him to come in and see me as a wide player was good for him in a sense, because I always played wide before Craig Brown, and he obviously maybe knew that from obviously playing for Northern Ireland, etc, because he was at St Johnstone at the time I played for Celtic, and obviously impressed always against St Johnstone, and he obviously seen me as a wide player.
Did see when Dale came in at first, did he say we need to get Aberdeen back up competing with Celtic and Rangers?
Yeah, no, he just straight away he wanted us competing for cup competitions. He felt we always had the squad of players to do better than what we were showing, and he wanted us to push. It was straight away with Celtic because Rangers weren't in the league at the time. Straight away he just wanted us to push Celtic as far as we possibly could, and I felt that we did that at times, but obviously as the season went on, obviously Celtic just kept motoring away.
And what did he bring in better players as well? Because obviously you said you finished 7th and 8th the year before. Was it better players that came in? Who came in and made the team better?
I think we've always had good players. It was one of those ones, probably maybe Archie and Craig were maybe a wee bit more old school, and Gaffer's brought in new ideas, brought in fresher players, brought in good signings, and he's always done that every season. He's always recruited a good 4 or 5 like top players, and we've always had that. Like we've always, when there's been players left, players have come in and done better or done equally as good as the players that were there, and that's always been the case since I've been there. So he's always recruited very well, and there's always been a good team bonding with Aberdeen lads, definitely.
Who's impressed you the most that you've played with Aberdeen over the years?
There's been a few. I think Kenny McLean was top class.
Was he? Was Kenny top class?
He was good. I always enjoyed him because he was always the type of player that, for me playing wide, he would always get on the half turn and just switch it. He would always like see you making runs in behind, getting on the ball. Kenny was always good at that. You had Shinny, who was just a dog. He just got about everywhere and won the ball back for you. But I always, I'm not just saying this because he's my mate at Aberdeen all the time, but Johnny, I just thought he was class. He was just so raw. He's just like an old school winger. He always got us up the pitch when we're maybe under a wee bit of cosh. He obviously went on to get his move to Celtic as well. And Rooney was just in the 6-yard box. He was just probably the best I've played with, other than probably Gary Hooper.
And what was it? Was that the aim? Just get the ball in the box, and Rooney will stick his nut on it.
It just always worked well. He just came in, he hit the ground running. He scored a lot of goals. I remember there was a period like me, Johnny, and Rooney always played together, and we always won more games than we did. And then we threw a wee sticky patch, and I actually wasn't playing for a few weeks. And I remember the manager just pulling us in. He pulled me, Johnny, Rooney in. He just says, "Look, things haven't been going well. You've worked in the past. You've obviously got me good results." Like he says, "Look, I'm going to stick with you for the next 4 or 5 games, win or lose, but we're going to stick together." And then we just started winning again. That was it.
You said as well, it's a great dressing room. Everyone I speak to that's played up there says it's a good dressing room. What is it that makes it so good? Is it just full of character?
I think it's just good characters. But the manager brings in great characters. Whether it's boys come from England or boys come from obviously the Scottish boys as well. It's always good characters. You always have a good banter with. I think it's always the Scottish and the Irish, and sometimes the English get on well, but it's mainly the Scottish and Irish always have a good connection. But you've always like Robbo and Barry Robson was a great character in the dressing room. He's just a madman, and Willow Flood was always good as well. But having the Irish boys are a mixture with obviously the sort of the younger lads and obviously more experienced lads. And then you've got the old heads like maybe Russell at the time, big Andy Considine, and we've had some good goalkeepers, Danny Ward and Joe Lewis and stuff as well. So it's been great, and obviously big clangers as well.
Who was angrier, Barry Robson or Willow Flood?
That's not. I think they're both as bad as each other. I think.
See at Aberdeen, Ryan Jack's obviously angry as well. Would there be a sort of club where you could fight with each other in training and it's forgotten about and you got on with it again? Yeah,
it was probably Jack was always that type of character. He was a bit fiery, but he was always a calm head as well. And there was one period where I think there was a bit of a scuffle on the pitch where Jacko had a bit of a go at Willow, where Willow may have had a go at him, and it carried on into the changing room.
And who won?
Nobody won. It was just broke up, so I can't say a winner there. But I think if you're betting on somebody, I don't think Willow will back down. If Willow was getting battered, he'd still get up and keep going. But Jacko was a hard boy.
And with Dale, does he like that? Does he like the boys sorting problems out for themselves?
I think so. It's always been that case. I think definitely. I think if boys are angry and the boys need to sort things out, to do amongst themselves. But there's never ever been any like real sort of bad fallouts between manager players since I've been there, and it's always been kept under wraps. That things have always turned out good, and I think you need that now and again where players are having a tough go at each other, and it just makes it to be better sort of on the pitch that you get the positive results.
Did you feel the team was good enough to win silver?
I think the big turning point that season was, I think Roggage scored a late equaliser at Kilmarnock. I think only won 1-0. I think maybe we dropped points at the same time, but we were on their tails. I think if we had won that game, we would have went ahead of Celtic. But Celtic scoring that late equaliser and then us obviously dropping points, and I think that's when the gap sort of started opening up. But I think we needed definitely to get in front of them to sort of have any chance. But we definitely had the players to sort of mount a challenge. But if I'm being realistic, it's one of those ones. It's always hard to compete with, obviously financially and obviously the calibre of players that they had, but we definitely felt that we had the players to obviously give them a good go, yeah.
So you thought you could win the league, huh?
I thought we probably could have, to be honest, but as I said, it did get that stage where obviously the gap was opening up, and then it got that stage where we obviously probably didn't think it, but in-house we had our own targets, and to win the cups was priority, but the league was just keep close to Celtic for as long as possible, and you never know, and unfortunately we couldn't do it.
How tough was the final against Inverness?
It was a bad watch.
Mate, what was that?
That was terrible. The best bit, I've heard interviews before, the best bit was the bus journey home. But I remember the start of the game, I started on the right and Johnny's came across and the balls went back from kick-off, and then just big high balls went up, and I'm thinking, no chance I can get near this. And Johnny being mad Johnny's went for it, and he's went to head it, and he's ended up racking his shoulder, so he came off after like 10 seconds. So I was Johnny out, so sort of losing Johnny out early on probably had an effect on us as a team, because Johnny was obviously a good athlete for us, playing against his old club Inverness, probably wanting to impress, and he was a big miss for us. But in the game there wasn't really many opportunities, but we won the game, and I was actually fifth penalty. We won on 4 penalties.
I was just going to ask you that. How are you fifth?
I was fifth, but thankfully...
You shouting it?
I was shouting it, but on my recent performances, thank God I didn't take it, because I've missed the last couple now.
Oh, have you? How was the celebrations right after it? Was it Celtic Park, wasn't it?
Yeah, the atmosphere was incredible, because Inverness didn't really have a big following. They had probably 5,000, but we had 40,000 fans in Celtic Park. But even the drive up to the game was just Aberdeen fans everywhere. It was crazy. And then come back to Aberdeen, the street in Aberdeen was, I think there was 80,000-90,000 people, like that big Union Street was just covered in Aberdeen fans. But to see that and be here at a time where obviously Aberdeen won a trophy was incredible.
Is that when you see how big a club it is, when you win something?
Massively. I think you always know how big of a club is, but when you see certain things, and obviously seeing everyone turning out and 80,000 people in Union Street was crazy.
Were you all steaming on the bus?
Oh, having a few drinks in the bus. We got to the big council building, out onto the balcony, and lifting the trophy up, and everyone was going mad. But it's just a wee bit surreal. I still have videos now of the actual day, how good it was, and you want more of that. And that's obviously, it's just been so unfortunate over the last number of years. Like, we've got the semi-finals and finals constantly, but just haven't managed to obviously lift that other trophy that obviously the city and the team need.
See, on celebrations, would the manager and Tony Dock, would they come? Do they go with the boys together, or
not really? No, they would always be quite separate. Even come back in the bus. Don't get me wrong, they got involved. Come back in the bus. It was just karaoke, but Barry Robson, he just had the microphone the whole time. He wouldn't give it to anyone else. He was just
singing. Sound these on voice, didn't he?
He loved Saturday Night at the Movies. He just kept singing Saturday Night at the Movies on a repeat. But no, it was a great night out. We got back to one of the hotels, and then the whole lads within the town, still with suits on, straight out. And what an unbelievable night.
Was Robbo big for the big time shouts?
Still now he gives it his arguments all the time. Just Champions League, he's like whoops this and whoops that, and just Champions League shouts all the time. Even today, like, I think the gaffer's son was up practicing free kicks, and he's like, Sanny scored Ibrox against, I don't know who it was. He's like £9 million goalkeeper. He's a 89th minute winner. But he was so good. I love playing him, because he was always that type of player. Was good for me. He's quite similar to probably Kenny McLean. Always get on the half turn and just always try to find that Pacific pass, and see when he didn't find the pass, he was like, so close. As if
But he smashed balls in training as well, Robbo?
Definitely. No, he would smash people, but it was always them big scabby elbows. Elbows everywhere, but I've definitely had an elbow before. But he always, see, the older he got, and obviously we were a bit quicker, see, even towards the last couple of years, the likes of myself, see, anytime we went to like skip by him and stuff, elbow was out. But he knew that himself, he was getting a bit slower, so the scabby elbows came out.
What about Dale? Does Dale join in training?
He joins in the boxes and stuff, but he still has a bit.
Is he decent at it? I played against him in the reserves, mate.
He still has a bit. Him and Tony Dock join in, but no, they always rate themselves, but they still have a bit. But Gaffer's obviously had problems with his knees over the years, which obviously he can't do too much. But regarding the boxes and stuff, yeah, he definitely.
See, when you were flying at Aberdeen, obviously finishing second, was there a good social club? Who'd be the ones that you'd go out with?
No, it was always the boys. Boys would probably maybe, for winning games, your boys would maybe go out most weekends and stuff. I think. So with Johnny quite a lot, Rooney and stuff. Rooney was always...
Rooney was some drinking, mate. See, Christmas Tuesday, you just stay out in the one gear the full weekend.
Like Rooney and Johnny, they would drink till like 4 and 5 in the morning. Like sometimes you just go to bed at 1 night. But Rooney, like I used to share a room with Rooney as well. I always shared with Johnny, but times I shared with Rooney. Like Rooney would always, every Friday night before a game, it was always part, like the manager and stuff knew it, but he would always get a wee Baileys up the room, and he'd have a wee Baileys before the game, and that was him. It was just always his strict routine.
Was it?
And he just loved a wee drink, but it obviously didn't affect him. He's just probably... Yeah, he just liked doing that. No,
we're trying to get him on to dinner.
It obviously worked.
Gary Neville will not let him.
He won't let him?
No, Gary Neville will not let him.
Maybe just hold Neville down and get him on.
I'm going to toe his balls there. Right, running Celtic close 2015-16. That's the year you ran them closest. Any regrets looking back on that year?
I don't think there's any regrets, because we gave a good account of ourselves. We had a good team, and we just gave it like a all. And as I said earlier, just got that stage where they just kept getting away, and obviously once Celtic got their tails up and kept moving away and away, that was it. There was no catching them.
Some people say like that year that you've lost games that you should have won against maybe the lesser teams. Would you agree with it? Or is it tough when you've got such a small squad?
I think it's a bit of everything. You get that all the time. see when you set out your standards or your targets at the end of the season, you always think, oh, there's 4 or 5 games I think you can get maximum points from, but it never ever works out that way. Sometimes, more often than not, we're always beating the top teams and then maybe losing points against the lower league teams in the league, and that's what it's been for even probably this season as well. Like we've went to St Mirren this season and lost, and it's just the way it's been, and it's just been hard.
Frustrating. Right, we're going to talk about Euro 2016, mate. Unbelievable. Qualified for the Euros the summer after. What is it about Michael O'Neill that works? So we've had him on here.
Yeah.
Top man, isn't he?
He's been brilliant to me. He's been it's just his attention to detail that he goes into regarding opposition and how he plays, like how he wants us to play as a team is second to none, and the confidence he gets throughout the squad. And I think him from back home, being obviously Irish and stuff, and growing up from there and knowing how, I think we just have a good connection to players, and like we don't have a massive pool of players to choose from, but regarding the team camaraderie, the players that we have and the characters that we have, I think everything just gels together so good, and obviously that always results down on us going out and having a good confidence. But Michael, I think he only won 1 game in his first 18 games, so he had it tough at the start, but once he sort of got his ideas across, and obviously he had a good crack at a Euros campaign, and that was the one we qualified from. It just went from strength to strength to strength. It was incredible.
You said about the good team spirit. Who's funny in the team? Lafferty.
Big Lafferty's just daft as a Boris. Big Josh is a good character, but everyone's just sort of got their own personalities. You've got obviously the older experienced one. You had Husey, Big Macaulay, Johnny Evans, but then the mad dafty ones are obviously Big Laughs and Josh.
What does Lafferty do? Just
stupid things. He was always late for meetings and stuff, and obviously I think after a while it obviously got on the manager's nerves a wee bit, but just daft stupid things. He's always up to something. Like if you're sitting here like chilling, he would always be doing something just to try and be funny. But no, he's a funny guy now. Because
Michael O'Neill seems to me like he doesn't take any shit.
No, Michael's always good regarding the sense of when it's down to work, it's work. When it's down to play time, it's obviously you have your own ideas, go out and have your nights out and stuff. But even recently there, a couple of the last campaigns, like we came across and met up on a Sunday, and most probably international teams are meet up on the Sunday, go to bed, and then get ready for training the next day. Like he organised like a team gathering, team night out, a few boys had a couple of drinks and stuff, and that sort of brings everyone together and like makes you go on to have a sort of a successful week. And when we look back at the campaign, like we were a very low pot team, but for us to go on and actually win the actual group that we were in was incredible. And I think it was Hungary away. Our first game was Hungary away, and it was actually worked out well for me. I was on the bench, I came on, but conceded straight away, so I thought, oh no. But we went up the pitch, I've scored, and then I've set up the winner. So we won away to Hungary 2-1, and then that sort of gained momentum and started to gain confidence, because I can't remember the last time we won a game away from home, and it just went from strength to strength, kept gaining confidence, and we ended up qualifying for the Euros, and what a celebration it was.
Was it? Where did you go to Northern Ireland? Can you go to Northern Ireland?
Yeah, we can go out, but like obviously you get tortured by a lot of people, because obviously Northern Ireland, everyone sort of knows you, obviously Northern Ireland fans, but we're always well looked after, and I think you always have that good relationship with the fans and the players, that it's more of a social thing, that everyone gets on well, you have your laugh and joke and banter at the same time, and you obviously take your time out for pictures, autographs, whatever the players want. But team night out was incredible. After the Greece game, we went out and then we flew to Finland and played Finland away in the final group game, but the night out in Finland was probably the best. You'd Paddy McCourt running about in the slips on.
Was it?
Everyone came back to the hotel, and the whole hotel floor was just buzzing. Like music was coming from all the rooms. You'd Paddy dancing around with slips on, the sluggies on. There was just a lot of sights.
I can't see a video of that on the Snapchat.
You probably did, yeah. Sure, everyone was videoing.
Was everyone know singing "Don't Sell McCourt"? That song.
The Paddy McCourt song went on for, I'm not joking, about 2 hours. Just don't. He
never even played as well, did he?
So if there's one man celebrated qualifying for the Euros, it's definitely Paddy. He definitely took it to the max.
What a hero, man. See, when you seen the groups in the Euros, did Michael O'Neill get you again? Would he say we can qualify?
It was good because second place could always qualify, and he felt like probably Poland and Ukraine, being realistic, that we could get results, and he always said it. I think against Poland we probably felt a wee bit maybe afraid to maybe go out and express ourselves and not really give the performance that we're capable, even though we ended up losing 1-0 there. Obviously could have scored maybe 2 or 3, but he went like a back 5 that game. He went like 3-5-2 or whatever it was, and I was obviously disappointed in play as well as the other lads, I'm sure they were, but once we got back on the training ground, he changed things up, and he was going like more of a 4-3-3, 4-5-1 formation, and I thought, yeah, I'll make it a chance here type thing. And he went, we just went at Ukraine from the start, just got after them, had such a good performance. And then when he gave me the call to get on, I was just buzzing just to be on the pitch, like, because I didn't play the first game. I got on. I'm at the Euros. I want to like feel part of it. I want to like get on the pitch. But no, not in a million years did I think Josh McGinnis was. Everyone was shouting. It was like 96 minutes, like the latest goal in the Euros, whatever. And Josh went to the corner. Everyone was like, keep in the corner, and then he beat the fullback, crossed it. Ball's coming to me. I was thinking about shooting, but I heard Stuart Dallas shouting over, and then I've left it. So he's had the shot, and then I've just turned around and followed in, and then it just fell for me. I thought, wow, I've just scored the Euros. It's incredible. There was a tear to my eye, definitely.
What was it? Were you emotional after the game?
No, straight away once I scored, like I ran over towards the crowd, and I came over, and then everyone came towards me. Big Josh got me in the headlock, and I was just a wee tear came to my eye, and it was just an unreal moment. And even looking back now and seeing all the videos, seeing the manager coming out and how emotional he was, and I always remembered we'd done interviews before the Euros and stuff, and I was asked the question, what's your favourite band? And I said Kings of Leon, and then it actually went on. I scored in Leon, and I went on and actually made a big video about obviously me scoring in Leon, so I was like King of Leon, if you know what I mean.
Who made that for you?
BBC just back home. It was just a big massive video, and in the Euros you had cameras come from all angles, and just how all the angles came together with the goals and seeing the fans was just nuts.
See, when you won that game, what was the dressing room after?
It was just huge celebration, but it's probably frustrating and annoying because you weren't really getting to enjoy it as much as you want because you just went back to your base camp, and over there it was horrendous at the time. The security guards were everywhere. Even doing media days, you went in a police escort around our campus. Police were everywhere. Even when Michael O'Neill wanted to go for a jog down the road, he had a jog with the boys with the guns, you know.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just had to go to jog with the security guys. It was just crazy. And I remember one of the days that boys wanted to like just get out of the base, go for a coffee or something, but you couldn't do that. So we went on the bus. A few security guys drove for about an hour and a half just for a coffee in the middle of this village, way up high the mountain. And so pulled up in this village, and you had a couple of wee like cafes and stuff, and there's a wee bit of a tourist attraction. So security guys off just raided the whole village just for us just to go go and have a coffee. Because there's all them bad like terrorist attacks around France at the time, and obviously it was just a wee bit surreal. But what an unbelievable tournament to be involved in, especially in Northern Ireland. It was the first time in 30 odd years we were qualified for a major tournament, and to go there and be one of the guys that scored a goal, it's going to be obviously. I've always said it'll probably never ever sink in until maybe 50, 60 years down the line when you're maybe going to team gatherings or you're going to do questions and answers about the good times.
Brilliant. How stressful was watching the Germany game?
Mickey McGovern was sensational that day. I think I just with obviously coming on scoring against Ukraine, I thought I might come on here type thing. But
see when you've done that and you've not started, how
it is frustrating. But obviously Michael obviously.
Does he explain to you why you're not playing, or is it just get on with it?
But in saying that, I've come on and scored a goal, but in the main the team have done well, so he's going to maybe keep the same team, which I think he did do. But I probably would have liked a wee bit longer, and I think it was 5 minutes I got at the time. But no, the Germany game, it could have been maybe 6 or 7 only for Mickey McGovern. But for me, scoring that second goal, that helped obviously the goal difference to make us qualify, and thankfully we did. And thankfully the Germany game was only 1-0 because it could have been it might not have worked out for us.
Michael McGovern, what a man!
Yeah, it's a great guy.
He made his debut at the weekend as well, didn't he?
I was delighted for him. I messaged him, but one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in football is Mickey. Oh,
he loves getting balls off his face, doesn't he? Take that any way you want.
Some size of lugs.
So you came on with 5 minutes to go.
I only came on with 5 minutes to go.
What's the instructions for Michael O'Neill when you're going on? Just run a bit?
It's just go on and it's just try and keep things tight. He's probably bringing me on to more or less we're getting beat 1-0, so he's probably hoping keep it tight and then maybe get like a counter attack goal. Yeah. But that was never the case. The Germans just kept the ball for fun.
How good are they top teams like your Germans and
Germany? Then were unbelievable. I think it was just coming off being the back of the world champions at the time, and they were just sensational how they moved the ball. But to have the opportunity to play like in these stadiums, Leon, it was like PSG, just to play in these stadiums it was just surreal. And the Northern Ireland fans at the time, they were just wow. They just brought like an unbelievable atmosphere to the whole tournament.
And the final whistle goes mayhem.
We didn't know we qualified straight away. We had the game, played against Germany, back on the bus. Like there was nothing confirmed. It was when we got to the airport, we got on the wee coach that brings us straight out on the plane, and then that's when obviously the news came through that we qualified. And then we're just standing, like everyone was just standing on the wee coach that takes you from the terminal to the bus, and then the bus just starts going off. So because everyone was talking about it and stuff, and then it just came through, qualified, and then everyone was buzzing back to camp again.
Does Michael O'Neill give a speech on the plane in that? Or?
No, he's just like, it was on the bus, just celebration, just on the bus, and then back to camp, because you had to prepare for obviously Wales then.
Joe Ledley told us Wales were allowed to drink at their camp. Was it the same with you?
It was. We had a couple of days where you could just bring family and friends up until like for a few hours or whatever. And I think around the time the Wales squad there, they had maybe a bomb hoax or something at the time. I can't remember what it was, but I think they had maybe a bomb hoax at the time, or obviously a lot of them pooped their drawers. But what do you call it? It was towards the last few nights when we were over and when you were going home. But after a few of the games, when we had maybe a bit more time to recover and stuff, there was a few drinks and stuff. It was never ever nothing too crazy, but. Once when you were going home, we actually got a night out in Paris, so enjoyed that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
where did you go?
I can't remember the place. It was just a load of us went out and just the drink was flowing. It was just a Will Grigg song the whole time, the time. Just Will Grigg.
The boys sing the Will Grigg song as well.
Just the players always sang the songs. It always obviously all the fans were singing. It was great, but I felt a wee bit sorry for him because the whole term was just song after song about him. He never kicked the ball.
That's horrible. On the Wales game, how did you look back on it? She's a better team, I thought, eh?
I felt, and obviously we felt as a team, that was probably our best performance in the campaign. I think we played well, because we actually played Wales in the build-up to before the Euros in a friendly, and we done quite well against them. And we felt on that game we were probably the better team, but just didn't get the goal. And for us to concede like an OG, a big G, and obviously Gareth Bale put in an unbelievable ball, was just frustrating because we kept Ramsey quiet, Joe Allen and Gareth Bale quiet, and we just felt that we're getting on top of them, but we just couldn't get that goal.
Was that the game plan? Stop Ramsey and Bale?
It was just to sort of get on them, and it obviously worked for us. And if you're obviously keeping the main boys quiet, then you're always in a chance of winning.
Just finally, was that tournament the best experience of your career?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I think looking back, if I didn't score and I played the minutes that I played, I would have been hugely disappointed. But considering I scored the Euros, whether I played 1 minute or played 490 minutes, it was the icing on the cake for me to score a major tournament. And I just had good vibes going to the game against Ukraine, because I knew with him changing the formation and me being a winger, I'd have the opportunity to come on, and I was shooting into the goal before the game. I had good feeling, and then once he brought me on to go on and score, was nuts.
Brilliant. You spent another year at Aberdeen and then South Korea, Caleb. How were you initially approached? That's Jerry Carlisle dodgy deal.
That's a backhander maybe, I think. It was a wee bit strange. I had this South Korean random agent got in touch with me, but I thought it was a bit of a joke. I was out of contract. I was speaking to a few clubs. I was quite close to sign for Bolton at the time, because I was speaking to Lenny and whatnot. And but before, and then he obviously left, and then Phil Parkinson, he actually tried to sign me before I signed for Aberdeen. He tried to sign me for Bradford. I actually flew to Bradford and met Bradford. And Phil Parkinson was manager at Bolton at the time, but they were having ongoing issues with obviously signing players and different things. So I was never going to sort of materialise. And then this random agent got in touch with me. I passed him on to my agent. I just said, look, can you speak to my agent type thing. But then him and the president of the club, who was Ki Sung-young's dad,
was it?
Who I played with at Celtic, yeah.
And it was Ki Sung-young that recommended you, Jim?
Yeah, he obviously...
He was a good player.
Yeah, he was technically unbelievable. So I actually met him over in Korea and stuff as well. But no, what a guy. And his dad was the president of the club, but his dad and the agent flew from South Korea the whole way to Belfast. Stayed in Belfast for about 2-3 nights. It must have, first class, staying in the high end like hotels, must have spent like thousands of pounds just to come over and meet me. And for them to do that felt like special for me. Because I felt like, this is like, sometimes maybe like a team want to sign and maybe don't show you as much interest, but for them to fly from South Korea over to Belfast to see me, spend 2 days with me, get to know me as a character, and obviously Key spoke highly of me, and obviously things progressed then. They went back. About a week later I flew over and I signed, and that was it. I just thought, why not? I had no ties at the time, and all my family's obviously back home, didn't family here or anything. I thought, something new, why not just go and try it out? And that was it.
Any crazy experiences over
there? See when my agent left me, when my agent came over with me when I signed, but see when he left me, my stomach just sank. I thought, like, I'm in the middle of South Korea here, I know nobody, I know nothing, like, what am I doing type thing. My stomach did sink, but I think regarding like football experience, everything was great. I had my own English interpreter. He was my best mate. He done everything for me. Like, bills to pay, order and stuff. I live like 3 hours south of Seoul, so the further you went down, obviously the less speaking English people. But I was carrying like a bit of problem with my hernia and stuff at the time. I ended up getting like a double hernia up after I came back from South Korea before I signed back from Aberdeen. So I was struggling with that. They were like midway through their season. Even like the humidity and stuff of the games was quite hard. But regarding sort of the whole experience, it was something I'm glad I went and did, because it's probably something I never ever get to do ever again.
It's money,
no, not the tax man came and generated. So I had it. After, if I was there for maybe a couple of years, yeah, but the taxman came calling in January and that wasn't nice.
Was the standard good, or was it?
No, standard I was really impressed, to be honest. With South Koreans, they work so hard. They're up every morning at 7 o'clock. They're going for their walks together, they do everything together, eat together, sleep, whatever together. But up every morning 7 o'clock. They're just so dedicated. Like 4 or 5 of the lads were playing for the South Korean national team, like in the league. But the league brought in like a lot of Brazilians, and we were like bottom when I signed. Lost the manager after like 2 months. A new manager came in. He was a wee bit more old school, but I get on really well with the older manager, and he was always quite good to me. He says, look, I'm finding it hard to play, but I feel like we're just needing to defend games. We can't attack because we're struggling. We're bottom of the league, and like teams are just beating us all the time. And he said, look, if you're the bigger and better team, you'd probably play week in, week out, but it's just hard here with the way I'm playing formation wise. But he was truthful and honest to me, but I always felt my time in Korea always had an impact on my international stuff, whereas my international stuff always probably had an impact on my South Korea stuff, because I was only there for 5-6 months, but I was constantly coming home for international games. I mightn't been playing as much, and I wasn't going to play for Northern Ireland, and then when I came back I was jet lagged, and then usually missed the next game, and then it all sort of had a benefit on each other. The travelling was tough, but regarding experience, good experience. But no, I've no regrets, and I came back, and it probably going to Korea probably helped me have more options when I came back, because I spoke to Hearts, I spoke to Hibs, I had good clubs there wanting to sign me, and then obviously it was a no-brainer to come back to Aberdeen.
Did you have an interpreter?
Yeah, he was my best mate.
So did you just hang about your interpreter?
Done everything, but he's actually went on to have a good job. He ended up getting a job with the South Korean national team. So Tim, his name was, but I don't know actually what his real name was. He actually came.
His real name, was it not Tim?
No, like obviously Korean names had like three names.
So you just called him Tim.
Yeah, so but it's funny. It was just being over in them far countries, for banter wise, like a lot of boys can't speak English, so you're always like saying bad words there, trying to teach me bad words, and then I was obviously teaching them things, and they were all like randomly just come out. It was like Cookie Mizuno at Celtic. He only knew bad words. He was mad. He used to come in with just his moustache half shaved and stuff. Just a wee Japanese boy just running about, half shaved his moustache, and he was mad too.
I remember wee Paul Caddish used to get him to go and say terrible things to Danny McGinn.
Yeah, it was just funny, because he thought he was probably being kind, but he was just saying bad words. Danny McGinn didn't know what the week was.
Oh, tremendous. So you said options you had. So did Lenny phone you?
Yeah, I spoke to Hibs. I went to Hibs were playing, I think Celtic at the time. I went to the Hibs game, and I went into the office, and then I went the next day. I went up to the training ground and met Lenny, and first thing Lenny said to me, he said, fair play to you, like for going to Korea and stuff. He's like, I wish I would have done something like that. And that was good for me straight away. And Hibs are obviously a great club, and Hearts are a good club. I'd Austin McPhee, who's obviously assistant at Northern Ireland, always shown a keen interest in me. But obviously when I spoke to Aberdeen and ended up signing like a longer term, like 3.5 year contract, that I knew what I was coming back to when I was here. I was always renting, so I came back, building a new training ground. I knew we were playing best football. Always had a good relationship with the fans. Ended up buying a house here, and now things have worked out well, so I can't complain. And I think even coming back here and obviously getting back to Scotland, that definitely enhanced my international career back on track again.
So is Aberdeen like home for you now? You think you'll end up living here?
It is. I'm a proper chook there now, aren't I? No, yeah, I don't know. I've started my coaching badges, so I'm in the process of doing that. So I feel like because I've been here that long, I've built up a good relationship with the manager, built up a good relationship with people around the club. So I'll probably look to get into that maybe sooner rather than later with having a new training ground. Maybe start coaching the younger ones, and then obviously come the end of my contract, if it's in Aberdeen, who knows what sort of job opportunities might arise for me. And
obviously we sticky spell just now for the club in Dell. Fans are on his back quite a bit. But he's the man to take Aberdeen forward. Yeah, massively. He's shown it in the past. We've always had we maybe tricky patches. We've always renowned ourselves on if you lose a game, you just look forward to get back at it, look forward to the next game and go at it again. It's always been the case, but you get it's a tough time at the moment regarding injuries, because of obviously the core of the team. You've got Big McKenna, and then you've got the centre midfielders, Leeson, Bryson, Ojo, and now I've just got sort of key players who are missing at the moment, but. When everyone comes together and we'll obviously sort of get momentum again, I think but it's one of those ones,
we haven't been playing great, but we're still like 2 points off third, if you know what I mean. So once we start obviously playing great, playing week in, week out, it'll probably, obviously, the league will take care of itself. But obviously, hugely disappointing to get knocked out of the cup. But we've got another cup competition to
Is that the aim this year, third?
Yeah, I think it has to be, Hank, if we're being realistic. Obviously, Rangers are been brilliant this season. Celtic are obviously have kicked on again and obviously have been brilliant as well. So I think Rangers and Celtic are just going to battle it out. But regarding us, we've just got to manage ourselves and just obviously push for that third place and just pick as many points up as possible. But we've definitely got to give obviously the Scottish Cup a go as well. And
then finally, you mentioned it, but after football, would you be a manager?
I think regarding coaching or managing, I think I've always been probably the laid back type of character. I'd probably love to be a manager. I think coaching I would enjoy doing that, but I think later down the line I'd definitely like to become a manager. Johnny Hayes has started his coaching badges, so he can be Tony Docherty and I can be McInnes.
And finally, where are me, you and Craig Brown going tonight?
It's up to you. Let Craig Brown do the shout, but I don't know if he can handle maybe me and you. Maybe the 2 or 3 in the morning.
No, we can't handle him. Right now, I'll top man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.